Hi everyone, this is Madeline here from Natural Hormone Healing, and I'm here with Aby. And Aby is a student social worker, and she just finished the Complete Period Relief Solution. You're from Edinburgh, so we have women from all over the world in this program. So you're from Scotland, but originally from England, right?
That's right. Yeah, no Scottish accent.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I'd love to know, what were your biggest challenges in terms of your hormones and your health before you started the program?
So my biggest challenges was definitely PMS and kind of PMS that sort of took over like the majority of my cycle. So 2 to 3 weeks of kind of anxiety and fatigue and skin problems like eczema and acne, and the fatigue was like really, really bad, like throughout the day, and low sex drive, feeling kind of, just exhausted like most of the time and just not really wanting to go out and do much. So there was like a lot of kind of social anxiety as well, and period pain obviously too, like quite intense period pain like the week before my period and during, and food sensitivity as well, and just generally not feeling like myself, just feeling really under the weather for three weeks of the 4-week cycle. So it was not great.
Yeah, not feeling well for 3 weeks out of this cycle is really tough.
Yeah,
And
it was.
How is that impacting like day-to-day life for you the most?
I think it was, just wanting to do things and like feeling like mentally I could do the things I wanted to do, but physically my body was just not allowing me to. And obviously, that impacts relationships as well, like going out and not wanting to go out and having that social anxiety was kind of making it difficult to spend time with people. And my low sex drive was kind of impacting my relationship with my boyfriend as well. And I think it was just really sort of kind of isolating, and having that amount of pain as well. It was kind of meaning that I wasn't able to do things for most of the month purely because of experiencing pain. So it was difficult in lots of ways, and it became quite frustrating as well. Like I started to really sort of get quite annoyed with my body for not being able to like keep up with the demands of like life, and wanting to go out and have fun, and wanting to work and try and be all the things that we try to be. And there was just no way that my energy was going to keep up with all of the things that my brain wanted to do. So it was quite tough.
Yeah, that's very tough to have to be dealing with. And how long was it like that for? Did you find it started increasing, like getting worse, or was it consistently bad for a certain amount of time?
I think it's definitely been bad for like the last 5 years. I think even when I was younger, I had pretty painful periods, and it was like they've never been straightforward. But in stressful times, my cycle has always been more problematic. So
And what were you trying? So dealing with this for like 5 years, you must have tried different things before we started working together. Like what did you try? Like you mentioned that even you've had like some surgery or like you've done a lot.
So I was convinced, like one of the things I forgot to mention about the symptoms was having like really extreme night pain, which was like a burning sensation. And I had that for like, I think it must have been like 6 months to a year, where I'd wake up at certain times of the month. And I think it was to do with ovulation, just like in extreme pain. And I would always be like physically really exhausted the next day after that happened. And because of that pain, I assumed that there was something really wrong with me inside. So I went to the doctors, and they recommended that I had like laparoscopy surgery, and I had 2 of those, and it came back with nothing each time and no explanation as to why. I had kind of been admitted to hospital a couple of times, and it ended up I just left the next day with no explanation, except that I might just have chronic pelvic pain. So there was really never anything that work. Like I always felt really deflated because it felt like it wasn't real. Like I didn't, and no one could tell me what was wrong. So I mostly just used pain medication. Like when I had that bad night pain, I would just take like a buscopan, like a muscle relaxant, and paracetamol sometimes, but I didn't take pain relief very often just because I don't really take that. But yeah, hot water bottles, some herbal remedies that were good, but I think they needed other things to support them as well. So yeah, there was not really much that worked for me, to be honest.
Yeah. Like getting a surgery is like probably the most extreme of all the things one could try. So I just can't imagine how defeating that would feel to at the time have the surgery, just be told there was nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of want there to be something, even though that sounds really strange because you don't want it to be serious, but you kind of just want someone to say that there is something like tangible that can then be kind of fixed or worked on. And each time there was nothing really. So
yeah, it's hard, like when you don't actually know what's causing it. And yeah, when just from our work together, we were really able to dive deep and really get to some root causes for you. So we can definitely talk about that. But I'm curious as well, what was that moment for you that after dealing with this for all these years that made you move to this other solution?
I think that it kind of ramped up quite a lot this year, and I guess that's maybe due to do with like the stress of like the pandemic and things changing, and I just like found myself being fatigued like constantly and always feeling like I think I could deal with the fatigue, but I couldn't deal with feeling like nauseous and like obviously because my cortisol levels were low, which is what we found out eventually, like just feeling really like dizzy and lightheaded all the time, and that literally did stop me from doing things. Like I couldn't go to like the supermarket, and I couldn't go like up lifts or escalators because it would make me feel really unwell. And like sitting next to people in restaurants, if they were too close to my face, it would make me feel really sick, and dizzy and just really tired. It was just really strange, like all these strange symptoms, and I think that was when I was aware that like your hormonal health kind of represents your general health as a woman. So I was just like, maybe there is something going on there, and the hormonal stuff is not really anything that I've looked into before. So yeah, I think, and also the pandemic gave me time to like think about it. So I was like, it's now the time, when I've got all this time at home, like it's the time to do it. So yeah, I think that's probably
yeah. The pandemic for a lot of people has been such an opportunity to really focus on health, especially being home more with a lot of the stuff we do. Like it's just you're getting your groceries, you're getting your herbs, your supplements. Like it's nothing that you need to go out for. So that can be helpful. Yeah. So tell me now, fast forward, you started the program. What were the biggest changes you noticed? What in terms of your results?
So many. So it took a little bit of time, obviously, but I mean, I think after like a couple of months, I started having more energy. My skin was much better, so like no eczema, very few breakouts on my face. My sex drive was better, much better, which is a bonus. And also, I had almost no PMS. And for the last 2 months of the program, I had pain-free periods, which was amazing. And they've stayed that way. I've had a couple of days where I've had a few little aches and pains, but they've not been anything like what I would have experienced before. But I think the most amazing thing is just the PMS. Like it's just, it just does not happen. And if it does, it might be for like one day where I feel, like I might be tracking my cycle and I'll write down that like I was a bit anxious today, and maybe that's like the week leading up to my period. But I'm kind of more accepting of that now, because I think there's like it makes sense to me now and I accept it more. But before, when it was every day, it was just, that was not normal, and like something needed to be done. So yeah, so many things have changed that have been really amazing. And I just feel like more motivated in the mornings, and I just know that I can do more things, and which feels really good without feeling tired and awful and fatigued. So yeah, that's really positive.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's just being able to feel like you can do more and
Yeah.
is a huge thing. And that's really important. I see so many women like struggle because it can impact our confidence and our self-esteem when we can't do the things we want to do because of our health. So yeah, just the PMS and being able to not have that is a really big deal. And what would you say like surprised you in terms, like you mentioned, like the PMS was like a big thing, but what kind of other like results that you maybe mentioned like that really surprised you that you didn't know would change?
I guess like I wasn't really sure if my sex drive would increase, like just because I guess like you don't realize how connected all of these things are when you're not like a professional like in this field. And so it's hard to understand that like just by tweaking things like your food and having the right supplements is actually going to impact everything. And it's like, it's impacted fatigue and PMS and pain, but it's also made my brain much clearer. So I used to get brain fog as well, which is another symptom that I had, and it doesn't occur as much as it happens sometimes, because obviously if I'm stressed or I'm a bit tired, then that does happen. But I kind of never really thought that all of these things would be impacted, but I think it's had like a knock-on effect, and it's decreased my stress as well, by feeling like I'm more in control of my cycle. And so I think it's just everything is so connected, and I didn't really expect all of these things to kind of happen in a relatively short amount of time. Actually, when you think about it, it's kind of amazing how much like food impacts your body in that way. So it was a really, really good surprise to have such good results.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, because I know, especially with PMS and these things that even impact our mental health, it's not easy to go through, and it can also be hard to reach out for support sometimes, especially and to have faith in something when we've been told that there's no reason behind our symptoms from the medical system too. So it can be really challenging and take a lot of faith to really step into that. What advice do you have for them about like seeking support and taking that action?
I would say really get to know yourself and understand what your symptoms are, and make a note of them, and track when they happen. Because I remember contacting you, Madeline, and like I felt like I knew I needed to contact you, and I knew I needed help, but a part of me didn't really fully understand exactly what all of my symptoms were. And I found it really difficult to remember what they all were, because I couldn't remember all of the surgeries that I'd had and when it had started. Get really clear about those things and really like know everything that you can, and then just go and find somebody that can support you, like Madeline. Like this program is just, I think it's life-changing. It's not just that you're gonna treat kind of hormone imbalances and pain and stuff, but like you said, it's a mental impact where you feel much better about your life and you feel way more in control. I think just everything that you learn about tracking your cycle on the course, the lessons that you learn about how to choose the right food, and it cements in your brain, and you start living your life in this way that actually works for you and your cycle. You learn so much about like the phases that you go through in your cycle. So I'm so much more connected to the cycle now, and I know the weeks where I'm going to have my highest energy, and I can like do those like really motivated high energy things, and then towards the end of the month I can start slowing down, and it's really amazing to feel kind of in sync like that. And yeah, so I think just go for it. Just reach out to someone and just explain what your situation is, and there is actually that support out there, because I didn't think there was, and I had kind of given up and felt like I was going a bit crazy, and like it was just going to be something I would have to deal with. Other people have period pain and have PMS, and that's just life. And actually I've learned that PMS is actually not that normal, and it is something that can be helped. So yeah, it helped me, and I've managed to stick with it even after finishing the program and being a busy social work student. You can still keep on top of things and prioritize your health. So yeah, I would say just go for it.
So thank you so much for sharing your story, Aby, and just being open to share. And yeah, if anyone listening wants more information, needs more support, just reach out to me in whatever avenue. You can message me on Facebook or Instagram. And yeah, thank you.